Yeah? And action.
So when lockdown hit in 2020, I had just come off the back of doing a feature-length documentary called In the Red, and lockdown hit as soon as that film was completed and ready to be released. After that, I kind of had this period of time where I really wanted to try something different other than documentaries. I'd not done anything fictional or scripted properly since I was at uni and did a few short films and that as a student. But I really wanted to push myself and see what I was capable of. It took me quite a while to get my head around what could be done on the limited resources we had at the time in terms of budget, in terms of COVID restrictions, the amount of people that we could have and interact with, but also to try and make something as entertaining and exciting for people to watch as possible. And then I came up with this idea of Done For, which was a very simple premise of a young woman who returned to her hometown after kind of a bad breakup in her relationship, and she really wants to just reconnect and feel a bit of comfort with her friends. But that's immediately interrupted when there's a disaster that happens in the town, which forces them to try and leave. I kind of thought that was an interesting idea and one that could be done pretty simply. In terms of the production, it wouldn't need a huge cast, it wouldn't need a huge crew.
I'm Christina, Craven, and I play Georgia in Done For. I'd done a bit of acting before, and I was a singer for a long time, and I trained in that. So I'd done bits of acting and singing and performing, but I'd never done film before. So this was the first experience that I had with that, and it was brilliant. It couldn't have been better for a first experience.
My name is Robert Oakes, and I play Zach in Done For.
My name's Ashlyn Burrell, and I played the character of Mary in Done For.
My name's Jordan Monks, and I played Mark in the film Done For.
Roll in. Scene 3, take 1. And now, I need to put this away.
So I really enjoyed the whole process, but I was terrified because I'd never done acting for any kind of like film thing. I'd done like a small bit of like extra work in a couple of like TV shows, but nothing like what Done For was. So it was intimidating, and especially with the whole not being scripted thing, there was that extra layer of, oh man, is it going to be any good? And so it was quite intimidating, but the whole experience was really enjoyable.
And action.
How are we going to get out of here?
We'll just find a car.
How are we going to find a car? And who's going to have like keys in their car?
We'll figure it out. There's no one left.
Okay.
Great.
Can't believe how nice your house is.
Neither can I. It was a really unusual experience because, number one, it was the first time I'd been in front of the camera that long. I'm more used to doing theatre acting. And on top of that, it was an improvised script. So it was kind of challenging, but also quite fun to play around with it. Although I will admit, there were a few times where I was like, what I'm saying is really not very good, and I hope that Patrick gets something good out of this. The Rhine and Spine. That's not a Cockney accent.
Cockney.
Rhine.
The Rhine and
Spine.
Spine. No, I can't do either.
Falls minely on the plane.
That's not Australian.
Oh, I know. I always slip into Australian when I'm trying to do any accent, and I can't even do that one well.
I can only do Australian if I watch loads of Australian TV shows beforehand. Then I'm like, all right, mate, you can't bring that into the country because it doesn't comply with the regulations.
But seeing the final thing, I was glad that there were some things in there that made sense to the story.
Awesome. So good.
Because I've done so much in documentaries before, how am I going to transfer these skills as smoothly and seamlessly as possible over to fictional work? So I decided that I would write a script, but the script wasn't going to be dialogue focused, it was going to be action focused and the beats of the plot that we would have to follow. And then I would allow the actors to improvise in terms of dialogue, and that way I felt it would make it a little bit more natural and allow us to play a little bit more.
I remember I messaged one of my friends who's like a really good improviser, and she does a lot of improv. And I was like, what do I do? How do I prepare for this? And she sort of said to me, it's kind of an actor's dream, because you don't have to go by what the script is telling you to say. You can go by what you think your character would say. And that sort of changed my opinion of it a little bit. And I was sort of like, yeah, that sounds great. So when we got started, I think it ended up then just feeling a lot more natural, instead of going, oh, what's my line supposed to be? And having that sort of in the back of your mind. Say hi.
Hello. It was really interesting. I mean, coming onto the film, playing a person who's in a relationship, and the person I'm in the relationship with in the film is also my girlfriend in real life. So I feel like that's probably a unique experience that I might not get to do again. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, obviously, what happens in the film isn't so fun.
Right, you're dying. Sad. Death and destruction.
Loneliness. But yeah, no, it was such a fun kind of experience to be part of, yeah.
Blairgowrie, where we filmed Dunfor, is actually my own hometown, so to go back and make a film like this with these actors was really, really special, and also made it a little bit easier because I knew exactly where the best filming spots would probably be and where we could get away with it being really quiet and things like that.
It was so much fun because, again, as I said, first time doing like stuff in front of the camera. It was like the first time doing a production where you have to go to the site, and like it was really cool to meet Sophie and see what she did with the sound and like all the tech that goes behind that.
So scene 3, shot 12, take 1. Perfect.
The whole time I was like, this is so exciting. So it was, you kind of just worked through it, even though like we were walking a lot and it was obviously very hot as well.
To film in Blairgowrie during a heat wave in Scotland was one of the luckiest things.
I think we were really lucky with the heat wave, honestly. Like, obviously, it was hot, and we did a lot of walking, but I think we couldn't have asked for better weather, and for it to be so consistent as well.
Fine in the shade wherever we go.
I mean, the heat was pretty intense, but we were so lucky because we had planned to film in this 1 week period from the beginning of the year, I want to say like February, March time, and by the time the summer came around, we had this week already of like intense sunshine and heat coming to Scotland, and every day was basically the exact same weather conditions. It didn't rain, and that was just perfect because the timeline of this film only takes place across maybe 48 hours max. So to have this weather over the course of like 4 or 5 days where it's consistent really helped, you know, make it feel like it all happens in the 1 day or across the 2 days.
This is Bumble, one of today's extras.
You want to be in the film?
Oh, there we go.
And also I think it was good for us all living in the same space because we were getting to know each other, and it helped to really create those connections in it as well. So
Everyone being under the same roof while we were working together. When we went out to film every day, we were sort of all almost like you're out on like a school trip kind of thing. It's like, oh yeah, let's go out and film some stuff. And then you get home at the end of the day and chill out with everyone as well. There was sort of quite a lot of camaraderie between everyone.
Way, good in! That was too friendly a wave, wasn't it? That was a real friendly, I was like...
Sorry, it's just like look straight at you there, my bad. I'm just gonna be good. Sorry. I just like went, that camera.
And give us a wee clap. Thank you.
Action! Oh, sorry, I didn't even say no. We'll go again.
Sorry, I just thought for a minute, are you going to say something to me?
I'm going to say no.
You want me to do my head?
Okay, because I felt like I was prancing more than I was running. I was like, is that okay?
I'm sorry. No, Mary.
Okay, rolling and...
Straight.
Yeah, suspicious.
That dog's gonna come up and start sniffing.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't pee on me.
That's not good. That's not good film right there.
A lot of them hadn't done something like this before. I mean, I haven't done something like this before, so for them to be as open as they were and play around and be as willing to play around as much as they were on screen was really, really helpful, and I couldn't have asked for a better cast really to support me on this film and to do such an amazing job.
You had such a clear story, and here's the start, here's a couple of suggestions, but here's where we need to end up. And to kind of have the freedom as an actor to just weave your way through while making choices about your own character as well as trying to go along with the story. Yeah, it was just cool to see kind of where those paths would go. I mean, it's such an interesting, kind of freeing thing to do, and I would love to do something again like that.
To have that experience of now having done something on this scale, and with the added of it being improvised dialogue for the most part. Obviously, we were given the scenarios and we were given the sort of brief of what the beats were. Afterwards, felt really good to be like, yeah, I think I did it. Especially having seen it, the finished result now as well.
It was unusual, but it was a lot of fun. I would definitely work in that way again. It was a really good experience, and yeah, it helped me to get more confident in front of the camera rather than just acting on stage, yeah.
I think everyone was so excited as well because we were just still sort of in lockdown, but just coming out of it kind of thing. Everyone was just so excited to make something and to get together in person with people and make something. That sort of bonds with people that you can't replicate on a screen when people are on different screens, that I think everyone was really excited about. And I think it sort of prompted us all. We were so happy to be making something. I think we all did really great work because we were so happy to be there.
When I look back at what was achieved with this film, what was done with these great actors, this crew, this really small unit of people, I think that it was a successful experiment in what could be done on a micro budget with limited resources. At a time like that, we were still trying to be careful, and to have the film that we have from that, I think is, quite special. I'm quite proud of the film, especially because I came at this with not knowing how it was going to turn out. That's the main thing, is just wanting to make stuff that people are entertained by and excites them.